We're back. T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Dark Side. Now, my partner in here today, he's kind of a big guy, so I don't know if I want to call him a weirdo. He may reach over here and grab a hold of me, but he's a buddy of mine I've known for a long time. Steve Brownlee. How you doing today, Steve?
Doing good.
You know, I was sitting thinking when you were coming in and we were talking about doing a show, how long do you think you've known me? Do you remember when we met or...
Yes, I do.
Let's hear it.
Well, back when you were downtown and a teenager, I'm older than you by a few.
Yeah.
And my dad used to take me into Yost. His warehouse was about 2 blocks from your warehouse, or your store. So when I was a kid, I would go in there. Didn't see you for, you were younger than me, so you wasn't in there. But I knew your dad well and your uncle well.
Yeah.
And your grandmother.
Right.
Yep.
You've been coming in a long time. I remember you from the old store when I went back there. I had a few years there before the aquarium kind of decided we needed to move and they needed parking, so we went that route and ended up over here. But you know, when I think back about how long I've known you, and I definitely consider you part of my family and a friend.
Yep. Thank you.
I don't know that I've ever fished with you.
No, but I sure have fished around you.
Yeah.
Back when you first learned.
Well, and that's what happened.
Yep.
If you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And people who fish out there understand what I'm saying, but when you go to an area and you see somebody in the same area you fish, and of course, like you said, you're a little bit older than me, so you've probably been pounding that Davis Island area a little bit longer than I had.
Yep.
Well, I wanted to go over there and start fishing, and I noticed Steve in the water. I noticed Steve at the ramp. He's not a guy I want to give any secrets out to, and he definitely wasn't knocking on my door trying to help me how to tell me where to fish or go. He wouldn't. I know we'd poke each other at the ramp at times, and
Yep.
Where'd you catch that at? But you've done a lot of fishing down in that downtown area. You know, Jerry Williams is a good friend of ours and good friend of yours. We've all fished around each other a long time, and to be honest with you, Steve, I was talking to Jerry today.
Oh boy.
He brought up you and Lou.
Oh God.
Lou Garcia, that was your fishing buddy.
Yep.
And boy, whatever you do, that's what Jerry Williams used to tell me. Don't let them see you over there, Mahoney.
I'll never forget the night when you didn't have bait. Lou would not let me tell you where to get bait. I sent you over to that marker that was about 4 foot deep.
Right, I remember that.
Lou goes, "Don't tell him where we got that bait." So I said, "Oh my God, I didn't tell you." And when you went over there, we were, because it was shallow over there.
Oh yeah.
And so Lou, of course, was laughing. He goes, he just didn't want me to tell nobody. It's like
big secret
yeah,
squirrel.
But you got on to me about a week later. You said, "Hey, that market didn't have no bait." And I said, "Well, I told you the truth." I said, "He won't let me tell you where it was at."
Yeah, he blamed it on his fishing partner there.
Yeah, it wasn't me, but I said, I would have told you.
Yeah,
But
it was some good times. What's some of the big fish you've caught out of that area? You've caught a lot of cobia, hadn't you?
Yes. Right here.
100-pounder?
The biggest was with my son when he was 12 years old. He got a 92-pounder.
And that was right there in downtown.
Right downtown.
Yeah, how'd you fish those?
Well, live bait, of course, with, I like thread fins myself, because if you use greenbacks, big greenbacks are okay, but they're so fast that, sometimes cobia miss them.
Yeah.
And thread fins are slow and
easy to
shiny.
catch too, right? You can spot them out there where you catch them near the channel. You'll see them rippling out there.
Oh yeah, yep. And then a lot of times back before I started using live bait, I would use that eel, rubber eel.
Yeah, those long. I think Berkeley made one.
Yeah, they would
pretty
nail
good.
that. I mean, they just hated that thing.
Yeah. And what were the months? When did you really target those cobia?
Well, as soon as snook would close, during the summer.
Summer months.
So June, July, and August, we would catch upward of 300 cobia and then 3 months.
Yeah, that's why we got limits now, because of Steve and Lou that didn't want old secret squirrel.
It's hard to hide a cobia up in a boat. Half that size right there.
And they were good, man. And I've seen him. How about snook? What's some of your big snook you've caught in that area?
Jerry Williams was there on my biggest snook. He was at the boat ramp.
Yeah.
And
he was at the boat ramp when he got back. He wasn't at the spot.
No. He asked me. I had to lie to him on that day. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You hear that, Jerry?
Jerry goes, did you get that on that mud flat over there? I said, they're still biting over there, Jerry. Big lie, of course.
Did he take off and go over there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I go, here, I give him bait, at the ramp. I said, here's some bait for you. 'Cause I had to go to work. I had to be at work by 8:15, and so this was around 7:30. I just pulled my boat right to
How big a snook was it?
It was 43 inches.
And that was back when you could keep a big
one. Oh, yeah, you could keep them. And they were still breathing. I had a 43 and a 41. And Jerry goes, the guy that caught the 41 was when he was from Clearwater. And so he's not a snook fisherman, nothing like that. He was an upholsterer. That's what I used to do, is sell fabric. He met me at the ramp, and he got a 41 edger that I got that 43.
Wow. And what bait did you catch those on?
Greenbacks.
Yeah. Hard to get down there in that downtown area, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, there's two places that are really good year-round, and they're right there in the channel. If you go up the channel, up the river there, Yacht Basin on the left.
Yeah.
It's
usually tucked up in there.
They're right along that dock right there.
I like that Boyle. That Boyle was a great place, but you had to hit it at dark.
And if you don't get there early in the morning and throw your net before the sun starts to even light the sky up.
That's right.
They go. I don't know where they go, but
it's the same way. I've been there trying to fish that area. That port, we used to have it wide open over there too, as we could almost pick any little spot. And I mean, we could spend. You could be in there fishing. I could be in there fishing and never see each other.
Right. Exactly.
If I went over by Palm River and you went over by somewhere else, you'd never even see each other.
Nope.
Lots of fish in there too.
And that's what there's not a lot of pressure in there, and that's what I used to like about it, is because we could put in. And we were in the afternoons. We'd always wait till the thunderstorms, and then we'd
nobody on the water.
So they get off the water. We sat there, wait for it to go by, and then we drop in and go.
Yeah, you'd watch that weather band come through, and everybody runs, and
everybody
some
runs
of the best
for
time
cover,
to fish.
And we go hammer.
Yeah, what's your favorite spot over there downtown?
Downtown,
big snook.
For big snook, you know where the lighthouse is on
the point.
Harbor Island.
Now let me ask you something. You've done admitted you pulled the britches on me on the marker in 4 foot of water, telling me bait's over there.
That was Lou's doing.
And then you tell Jerry you send him to some mud flat to catch some ghost snook. And now you're telling me your favorite spot's the lighthouse, which is what everybody fishes over there. You park at the end, you sit. Is it a certain tide you like over there?
High outgoing.
That seems like the ticket for them big snook, and you just get them there at the beginning, don't you?
Yeah. One night, Lou Garcia at 1 o'clock in the morning, he hooks a monster right there. He fights that thing for 15 minutes, and it comes up. It's way over the size limit. This is, this is after they went. This thing was 48 inches.
Wow, that's a monster.
It was a monster. And
you're telling me you didn't do no hustling back to the dock?
Well, we sat there for, 10 minutes. Should we? Shouldn't we? Should we? So we let it go. Then after that, we were kind of sick.
Yeah.
We felt sick, So I think just gonna swim off and die of old age.
Well, you did the right thing. You get caught down there messing around. You're always that. There's a time and a place for stuff like that. That's the way I look at it. And that might
especially especially if you'd always say I'm a big liar. I just tell the story. That's all.
Yeah.
But that did happen. I mean, Lou caught the biggest snook that I've ever. Well, I seen a big one swim under Sean Love. He used to be a Buccaneer player for Dungy. Dungy got rid of him, but he owned
He's probably fishing too much.
Well,
wouldn't show up.
I'll never forget how I met him. We were fully camouflaged because we get up on the docks
hiding from Jerry Williams.
Well, this is late at night, so we're just hiding from whoever owned the townhomes there. It's right when you go on to Davis Island, right on the right-hand side.
Oh, yeah, Fancy Pants
Yes,
Hotel.
yes.
Or,
so Sean Love walks out there one night, big guy, and he walks over, and I saw him look around. He pulls up a bait bucket, and he sticks his hand in there, and he has a little rod. So I step out from behind the pole there. I'm fishing straight down. We're fishing for big boys.
Camoed out.
Yeah, we were using 4-aughts with 80 and 100. And all you do is you drive the bait straight down, and you snatch them up like you're fishing for,
bait or something.
Yeah,
sabikis. Yeah. Straight in the boat.
Straight up. No, not in the boat. We're walking the dock, so we lay on them, lay on top of them to keep them from flopping back in the water. Well, Sean Love, he goes, oh, he didn't see me. He goes, are these your shrimp? He's stealing shrimp. Oh, I go, no, man, help yourself. That ain't my bait bucket. I'll never forget that look. He goes, mine. He comes over, shakes my hand, man. I got a big hand. But that guy, my hand went inside his hand. Shakes my hand. He goes, I'm Sean Love. I play for the Bucks. I did up until 2 weeks ago. I don't know if I can say it right. That SOB cut me. Called, Dungy that.
Nobody likes getting fired, right?
No. But he was on his way to play for some other NFL team. But He goes, look, I own this townhome here or whatever. He goes, anybody, if you want to fish this dock anytime you want, you tell him Sean Love said you can fish it. I said, you got it, man.
Now, did you drive up there by boat?
No.
Tie up?
Yeah, by boat, tie up.
Yes, you didn't park there and walk in.
No, no.
That was a good tip there. So if you want to fish those docks late at night, put your camos on.
So nobody can see you on
Turn the lights off on the boat.
Oh, we'd never.
They don't even patrol over in that area, do they?
No,
Steve?
You never see nobody over there.
Yeah, Gasparilla is about the only time. So you sneak around, you got the whole island to yourself.
Yep. And them docks were really productive in the day. You get your 4 snook in
pretty quick.
10 minutes.
How'd you keep them out of the dock?
Like I said, I'm using a 4-aught with one of your rods in here, that 8-foot tarpon rod.
Oh yeah, that
ugly
big,
stick.
Yeah,
straight up and on the dock. I've lifted up, 38, 39s straight up.
You ever head down to the river, the Alafai, and try to catch them in there? When I was catching them, remember?
I remember every Friday night and Saturday night, if I didn't get there before dark, Mike Mahoney nosed that boat right into those concrete piles, and you fish straight down with it.
Oh yeah, don't give all my. I was using a 6-aught with 100. Forget
using dead shad, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
on the bottom. Yeah. I every Friday I yelled at you one night when we were coming through there, being like, can you know anywhere else to fish? I yelled at you.
Man, I've been up and down that river, but it's hard to beat that bridge. I mean, I'm not saying them.
You
fish
pull
don't,
big snook out of it. That's why
I've got
love
some
that
monsters.
Oh, I know that.
I think our biggest out there, and that was back when you could keep them. And
right.
I remember we were on a boat one time. There was 5 of us fishing, and I had 5 fish over 38 inches. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I got broke off. And this for sure. When you talk about catching a lot of fish, there's a ton that you lose before you ever hit that big number. I mean, most of the time we miss more than we catch.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You get one big snook, you might have had 3 on that night.
Yeah.
So
I used to use all artificial, before I met Lou Garcia.
Yeah.
Then he got me started.
Lou's a meat fisherman, produce guy.
Go
fish his dock. Since you sent him the wrong way, sent me the wrong way to catch bait. Of course, I bet I didn't throw the net more than one time over there, and I left.
You found out it was shallow.
Yeah, I knew it was shallow, and he was full of crap, and they weren't showing me no love.
No.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
but his dock's loaded with snook on the Hillsborough River.
Jerry
Zillow it and go right up there and fish it.
I think Jerry told me his biggest snook came from.
Well, yeah, he told you that because you sent him to a mud flat. Of course, he's going to tell you.
I didn't send him there.
Dock.
He just asked if it was there. I said yes. Hey, I can't lie. Yes.
Hey, you know what? If your buddy, if you wanted to, you knew he wasn't giving you no information, because that's the way we used to be.
I know.
There was no love.
Tight lip.
Tight.
Yeah.
you would say, I called it up, my biggest snook in Tampa Bay come out of your backyard. That's just enough to get that guy going.
That got Lou going. I think he went out and got some grocery carts.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Oh, you're telling? No, oh, the EPA. I remember this is just entertainment.
It might have been grocery cart. But yeah, he put some structure stuff down there.
Yeah, legal stuff.
Yeah, legal stuff. Christmas trees, actually.
Yeah. Stolen cars, all kinds of
all
stuff.
kinds of stuff.
Hillsborough River's loaded with it. Probably got syringes floating down there. I
More than likely.
But you know, Steve, it's been a long time, and I know you've done a lot of fishing around here, and I just wanted to get your insight on how things have changed that you've seen in the fishing industry. A lot more pressure, you think, or?
Well, it's a lot of pressure, and then all it takes is one good, I think Lou said the worst net for Tampa Bay or fishing is the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you put something on there, like you can expect to see boats there.
Right.
And so that just, and it's getting more crowded on this side of the bay now. Like there used to be very few people fish this shoreline. And but
a lot of people don't like that dark water. Me personally,
I
love it.
I love it.
I love the dirty
tannic.
water.
It looks like a lake that's tannic water. That's what it looks
like. Root beer in there. Louisiana's the same way, Steve. If you're inside on Louisiana, all that water's is almost identical to Tampa Bay. You can't see real good. And I think what happens to people on the east side is they hit stuff. Old crab traps, old concrete you got in McKay Bay, in the kitchen. Between Alafai River, when you come out of the Alafai River, if you make a hard left right there at the bird sanctuary, you're going to have some abandoned traps out there. We all know it. And they'll be showing on a low tide, and a lot of people don't know that. So I think they get over there, hit a few things that cost them some money, and they kind of say, let's go over to Weeden Island.
Right, let's go on the other side of the bay.
Maybe go over to the Skyway. But you're right, there wasn't a bunch of people. You were definitely one of them that I looked at that caught big fish when they were out there.
Jerry Williams, I'll never forget it. He won't either. I pulled up to the ramp to put in, he's pulling out. He goes, I just lost a big cobia right over there. It's all tore up. You know how the dolphins will hit them and tear them up? So I said, you did? He goes, yeah, I did, man. It's right there. So I never throw the net at the ramp. So I said, in this case, I threw the net one time and had a pinfish about half the size of my hand. I said, we had that and a couple of little things. But anyhow, we went to the marker. Jerry's still up there, loading his boat up. We went to the marker, and as I pull up, I see it because I can see the white where it's been tore up.
Where it's been beat up.
I made one cast over there. Boom! It was me and Lou Garcia, and boom! The fight was all bad. We got it up, gaffed it, ran straight back to the ramp. Hey Jerry, come here. He walks over. He goes, "You," said a couple words, and he goes, "That's it." I go, "Appreciate it. You want half of it? I'll give you that side that's tore up."
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He goes. No, but man, that's it. I can't believe he broke me off so quick. I go 100. I use mono. I'm just old school. Yes, I use J hooks. I don't know if that's legal. Is it? I don't know. Anyhow, somebody told my son tells me, now you can't use them J hooks. So boy, it's illegal. I said I can't help it. I can't use a circle hook.
It's all in what you tell them.
My son?
No. Oh, the fish cops. It's all in what you tell them. What are the J hooks for? I'm fishing for something that it's legal for.
Yeah, legal.
But I think what he's talking about, I don't know if I hadn't heard nothing like that. What I do know is we use them offshore.
Right.
Bottom fishing in reefs.
J hooks or
no, bottom fishing. Circle hooks.
Yeah.
I don't know if they changed that.
Right.
But Steve, we got a lot to talk about, man. Something happened to you recently that I want to talk about, and we're going to do it in the next segment. Something pretty good. Y'all are going to want to hear about it. Y'all hold on. We'll be right back. We're back. T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Dark Side. I got a buddy of mine in here today, Steve Brownlee. Known him a long time. Been playing hide and seek for probably 25 years, 30 years now in the downtown area, huh? It's hide and seek.
More like 30 years.
You know, hated seeing his truck there with the trailer, knowing he got in the water before me, I can tell you that. And I'm sure he was the same way. I used to get off a little bit early and run down there just to beat him, especially in the Alafai River days like we were talking about.
Yeah. Alafai River, if I saw your truck, I knew I was too late for that quarter.
Yeah, you weren't getting in that corner.
I wasn't going to get there, but I could always go by there.
Yeah, throw a wake on me, about throw me off the boat.
You like to wedge that boat right between the bridge and the pylon.
Giving all my secrets, I'd tie it up there and get up on the trestle and walk it. Mm-hmm. I'd wait for the guy inside that who opened up the trestle to fall asleep.
Me and him were good buddies.
Oh, yeah.
That guy loved to snook fish.
He bought all his lures here. And
Did
you know
he?
what they were?
I want to know where he bought his tennis shoes, because we'd be out there fishing. He'd walk out to the end of the trestle and fish. And he said he's been warned, you know. He goes, I've been warned. If I get one more warning, they're going to fire me. Because he had to open that, bridge when that train's coming.
I think it's one of the only manual.
Yeah.
Even though it's electric to open it, you got to manually walk out there to hit the button.
Yep. And so we're out there catching snook. He loved to snook fish, that guy. And one night he just, hold this, and throws the pole at me. I grabbed it. He ran like, Mark Spitz, like an athlete.
Yeah.
He ran down that trestle that's only that wide, like 18 inches wide. You make one wrong move, you're in the water.
Oh, you're on oysters.
Dude, he heard the train coming. I didn't hear it. He heard it coming, and he had to get to that booth before, I guess, to push some button to get that thing to crank open.
The brakes. Yeah.
And so when he got back, when he finally got back, I said, man, I ain't never seen nobody. He goes, buddy, I came close to losing my job right there. I said, yeah. I said, was the snook worth it, though? Are they worth it? He goes, absolutely.
Yeah, he used to buy them red and white bombers from me, about 20 at a time. That's what he liked using out there.
That's what I used out there.
Long A, heavy-duty triple hooks.
Till I met Lou Garcia. That's your daddy's good friend. His name was Otis, I believe.
Otis Brown.
That's
Otis Brandon.
I'll never forget that guy as long as I'm sure he's gone.
Homemade lures.
He would make them.
I got some.
He made them for me, too. He would give them to me at the bridge.
Well, he was double dipping. He'd make them for me and then make them for you.
Yeah.
He knew we were out there against each other.
He had the weird lips on them, but they worked.
Yeah. I got one hanging in the break room right now. I sure do.
Yeah, but is Otis gone? I'm sure he's gone.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
He's got a picture of him up on the front of the store, and I think I hung the lures up there. Him and my dad trout fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trout
Otis
fishing.
was
he's a heck of a fisherman.
Oh, yeah. Him and the guy that taught me how to snook fish back in the early 70s, he lived on the river. Bob Butler was his name. And he's friends with Otis.
On Alafai River?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's where I learned to snook fish. Bob Butler took me there one night. See, the way he fished was tides only. So if there's, I don't care if it's at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, he goes, Steve, meet me at Alafai.
That's right. That's the guy who taught me. Same thing.
Same thing. Well, and it was the truth. On the second trip, I put it on. We were using all artificial. So
And what bait?
What bait?
Yeah, then.
Model A bomber is what I use.
Yeah.
That's what I used. The shallow runner.
Triple hooks or double hooks?
Triple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always had better hookups.
Yep.
Same exact lure I used.
There was a guy there, I never forget, his name was Victor. I don't know his last name. Everybody knows him down there. He had a real deep voice, and he fished with jigs.
Raspy?
Huh? Yeah, real raspy.
Hagedorn.
Hagedorn, that's him. I'll never forget that Hagedorn as long as I was.
Anybody ever fished around the Alafai knows them guys.
You guys, he had a real deep voice. He goes, you guys ain't going to catch, can't say the word, nothing on them bombers. Of course, as soon as he says that, I hook up. I said, no, Vic, not tonight. I said, not tonight. The bomber was my favorite lure until I learned to use live bait from Lou.
Yeah.
I used the bomber and a pink shad.
I'll tell you this, and I know you probably feel the same way, but using those artificial baits, you may not get as many,
Yeah.
but you get the big ones.
Big boys.
That's where it. And you remember that little decal that was, I think, Save the Manatee or something. The guy sold in all the bait and tackle stores, and real nice guy. He came. He's the one that showed me. I can't even think of his name, but he showed me that river.
Oh, okay.
And I always wanted to catch 20-pound snook. At first, I was trying to ask you and Jerry Williams where to get them, and neither one of y'all. Lou was tight-lipped, telling me go to the aquarium and catch them. So I had to find somebody.
That. Yeah.
And he told me, that guy, and you know what? The guys you know may have taught this guy.
Yeah.
His name was Bill.
Bill?
That was his name. A little bit older than I was, but he told me if I went every day in September, when the tide was right, at least trying to get there 4 or 5 times a week,
right,
and fish that moving tide, and there was about 8 spots. The wedge was one I found where you got me, and then there was some, depending on what the tide was doing, right? You'd set up different.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I caught, it took me about 15 days, and I was by myself. I'd caught some snook with him, some 30-inchers down there at the end,
right,
where the marker is and the rocks, and it goes into. That was another good spot.
Oh, I love that spot
where that light was on, right?
Yeah,
there.
And even if the light wasn't on for some reason, that whole line of rocks right there was just awesome. I had a bass boat back then, a Cajun bass boat. Never saw fresh water. Anyhow, I pulled it up along them rocks and right up. I mean, within 2-3 feet, and I'd throw that thing parallel to that rocks and start cranking, and bam, I mean, boom.
It was on. They were always in one spot there. I love that long A heavy duty. That was a bomber I used. But I'll tell you something I used to do, Steve, that you probably never even knew about when I'd see you down there at the river.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want him going to the spot I was at, and he's done gone by and seen me there, and now I'm going to move, so he's going to come all up in my mailbox. I would unthread the bulb.
I know you would. I tightened it up many a night. I'm not lying. I know you did. I didn't know it was you, but somebody would just unscrew it, and all you had to do is screw it back in, and boom.
I'd unscrew it because that light was on the end of the trestle and would light up that little pocket behind the trestle where the fish are. And when I was done fishing, I'd unscrew the light. I didn't know you figured that
I've gone
out.
as far as taking the bulb with me.
Oh, you were the one.
I'm not lying to you. I have taken it with me.
Oh, I've been up there and it's gone.
Yeah, that was Lou. Lou said to do that.
Yeah, after y'all figured it was me cutting that off.
Yeah.
Lou, boy, he's telling me a lot of stuff here.
Yeah,
I may have to meet. Y'all are going fishing soon, aren't you?
Saturday, we're going Saturday. He says, we don't have to go early this time. Well, let's go at 12.
You know what? I'll tell you something. He knows what he's talking about. What do you got coming up? Full moon.
Full moon.
Best bites the afternoon or
at
night.
Right.
You got 2 feeds. One of them's going to be from noon on, and
it's
one's going to be.
Nothing will be happening, and all of a sudden it's like somebody reached over there and turned the light on, and you got your limit. Oh, I don't know.
So you live by that tide.
Oh yeah, the guy that taught me, Bob Butler. It's the tide. Everything had to do with the tide, man. If the tide wasn't right, you're wasting your time. You know?
Well, and your tide and feed times run hand in hand. You'll see that.
Yeah.
You see that. You know, one of the things my dad always told me is, you see the moon coming up in the daytime or whatever. You see it start to rise.
Right.
No matter if it's a quarter moon, half moon, or whatever.
Right.
That tide's moving.
Yeah.
Fish are fixing to start hitting. You know, and it seems to be true.
The old man that taught me how to speck fish back when I was younger. If the cows are laying down, turn around and go home. That's what he said. Just go home.
You know, and I believe that. I've said the same thing. I go past a field, and I see them standing up and feeding.
Yeah.
And I've also seen deer feed at the same time. Yeah. But I'll tell you what was weird this year. I was driving through some back roads, Alabama, and there's a bunch of cattle property up there.
Yeah.
And I'd go past a pasture with every one of them feeding. And within 5 minutes, I go past another one, and they're all sitting down.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I'm thinking, well, then how does that work? I guess somewhere something's moving, but it seems kind of weird.
It does. Across the street from my house is probably only 80 acres left in Hillsborough County. It's all cows.
Yeah.
I listen to them all night. I got my windows open. I
sure.
hear them cows talking all night long. Well, when one's laying down, usually they're all lay down except maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And that old man that taught me about, hey, you're wasting your time. If them cows ain't eating, you might as well go home. His name was Ben Benson, but he caught some of the biggest specks. I got a speck standing beside my boy Stevie when he was probably a year and a half old. I got a speck that's almost touching his toes. I mean, it was a monster. It weighed 3 1/4 pounds. Caught him out of the Baptist Assembly Grounds. I don't know if you know where that is, up on Barris Avenue.
Were you wearing camo when you caught
No, we were allowed to fish it if we told them we were Southern Baptist. You were allowed to.
So y'all went in there
playing
the role.
Oh, we played. Well, I was Southern Baptist back in the day. But they would let you go in and fish that lake, and we just troll with beetle spins and catch some of the biggest specks you've probably ever seen ever.
Good eating. Then you graduated to saltwater and started catching all my snook.
Once I learned how to catch snook, it was over. I mean, my bass boat never saw fresh water again, ever.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you talked about your son a couple times, your son kind of sometimes gets a little mouthy on how good he is fishing. My first response will be, you learned it from your dad.
You
stole that spot from him.
His other response is, I have excelled. Yeah. Which, on offshore stuff, I'm not a big offshore fisherman, but at all.
He likes it.
Oh, he loves it.
Yeah. He goes with them guys. Yeah. It looks like he has a great time. Great kid, great family.
Yeah, he's a good.
Happy to know you, Steve. You've been doing my lawn here at Mahoney's for a while.
That's why it looks so dadgum good. I noticed it when I drove in today.
You're one of the few that can actually pet the dogs, huh?
You know what? Not all your dogs, but the white one, me and her get along real good.
Well, you've been feeding her?
I feed her a cheeseburger every now and again.
Let me tell you something. If you're going to come feed them cheeseburgers, you better have a truckload because they forget who you are on the last one.
The one you used to have before this one in the main yard here, he would wag his tail and be happy.
Snap at you.
And then snap at you after. So I always tell people, I said, Mike gets the dogs that aren't right in the head.
Yeah.
I mean you do.
They're death rows, what we call it.
Yeah.
Because they bit somebody, they've acted up where they shouldn't have, and this is the last stop.
Your uncle up out there.
When
you told me that, you want keys? You want to know if I wanted keys to come in here on the weekend to cut the grass?
I got to meet him on the weekend to put the dogs up so he can cut the grass. I asked him if he wanted a set of keys and put the dogs up himself.
And then he goes, if that dog over there ever gets out, he goes, shoot. I go, with what? I got no gun. He goes, well, he'll tear you. I said, I know he will. One day he got out, he attacked my lawnmower. Thank God. I'm serious.
What'd you do?
I screamed for Matt.
They come get you?
Yeah, they come.
What was he chewing on the lawnmower?
He's chewing on the front tire. Thank God I got solid rubber tires. He locked onto it. It was a pit bull. Like most of your dogs are. But he wasn't right in the head either. But he didn't attack me, so I was happy.
It's funny. Steve does the lawn around here, and sometimes he'll bring the new guys in, and he'll send them over with a weed eater to go over by the dog pen and just to watch them. We ought to get that on video.
That would be a good video, man.
We got extra heavy metal. You can bet on that. They ain't coming through there.
And you got a clip on. When I don't see that clip on for some reason, I won't go in there. I won't go in to do that yard.
Yeah, they'll lift that lever with
their nose, and they're coming out. They're hungry.
Good protection. People say get video. Well, I got video. What's that do? It lets you watch them steal your stuff.
Steal your stuff.
You get a dog, you ain't got to worry about watching nobody do that. Now, they could, the pro, but the main thing's a crackhead, right?
I remember the weekend that they treed that guy in the boat out there and didn't let him out of the boat the whole weekend. Y'all come in on Monday. Of course, I think y'all had him arrested, maybe. I don't remember. But he couldn't get out of the boat.
No, he stayed in the boat all week. And we came in on Monday morning, and the dogs had him bayed up in the boat. He'd been there for about 2 days, I think.
Yeah, he was hungry, I'm sure.
Yeah, we called the police to come get him out.
Yeah. I remember.
I asked him if he wanted me to lift the dog in the boat, but he didn't. He's about as scared as you could get.
Yeah, them dogs They're good, great guard dogs for sure.
They're there for protection, but they're not domestic.
Oh,
and
no.
I take care of them. I'm down here every Sunday.
Oh, you feed them.
Steve will tell you that. I feed, I clean the water bowl. I even give them a little bit of menhaden oil in the food on
Yeah,
Sundays.
you do. Yeah.
And they love it. Boy,
I remember asking you, what are you pouring in there? Because it looked like 10W30. But you go, it's menhaden oil.
Gets them going.
Yeah.
Makes that coat nice and shiny. Well, Steve, I appreciate you coming out tonight. You know, I know we got a lot to talk about, and you've had a lot of stuff happen to you recently, and I'm glad you're here, buddy.
Yep, me too,
I'm
man.
glad you're here. God is good, and
Yes,
He's done a great job with you. And
He is,
I've
man.
appreciated your friendship, and you're part of the family here, buddy.
I consider you guys to be part of my family, and that's for real.
Well, awesome,
Yeah,
Steve.
I'm
That's a
just
good
saying
deal. Anything you ever need, you let me know. You fish this area a long time. You've taught me some stuff you didn't want to. I had to steal it from you. I had to drive by the backside of Pendola Point to see him sitting on that creek coming out.
Oh, Lord, that's a hot creek with a tide.
Yeah, and that was probably one he lied to me about. He was sitting there. So he would do things like this. He'd catch fish and then go sit somewhere where I'd seen when I went by. And I'd spend 3 days over there and never even see a fish. He's probably laughing the whole time.
We would actually take fish and go to where we didn't catch them, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And then hold them up and take pictures.
Yeah. Oh,
so you can see but the shoreline and everything. I go, Lou, what's that for? And Lou goes, so nobody knows where we're, so they don't think we were here when we caught these fish.
You know what that is?
No.
That's flim flam.
He's good at it.
That's flim flam.
He's flim flam. He's awesome at it.
We appreciate it, Steve. Thanks for coming out
Thanks
tonight,
for inviting
buddy.
me. I appreciate it.
Until next time, we'll come up with some more good stories.
Yes.